Hello. How y'all doing, guys? It's a little different than normal. We normally don't do this during the day, but I have something I really want to share with y'all guys, and it's really important. At least to me, it's important. I don't know. Y'all might have already heard a few of these things. I don't really know. I don't think it's out there, but it's possible. But it's about the mystery on Stafford Court, February 25th, 2024. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers. Okay? The missing teenager out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. Last seen February 25th, 2024, leaving the Texas Roadhouse restaurant around 6:25 p.m. with Katie Lynn Payne Proudfoot, his mother. Remember, before we get started, my big alleged bubble here, right? Just my opinions, right? My theories, my thoughts, my speculation, my free speech, not to reflect the channel. Y'all's comments, y'all's and y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. I know we're doing this a little differently today. I'm gonna try to sit back. Oh, I don't know if I can reach. So, what I want to talk about though, I hope y'all can hear me okay. I'm using the speaker, so I hope y'all can hear me. But I want to, let me see how to do this. Trigger warnings times 100 million, okay, guys? And I know y'all probably going, this is way different than anything he's ever done, right? It is. Because I feel like something may have just panned out to something good. I do feel, as being my big alleged bubble here, that free speech is what we should all be allowed to have, right? So if we really think about that, I'll get a little closer. It's hard to lean back. I can't really see too good on that. But if you put yourself in my shoes, everything I do and say has to protect my channel, right? And sometimes we want to say things that we just can't say. And it sucks sometimes, but we have to do it, right? And y'all's comments, of course, are y'all's comments alone, right? And I should be saying, everybody do their own research, right? Because that's what it comes to. Now, we do research together because we are a big-hearted little family. But trigger warnings times 200 million in this one because it might get a little crazy. I've been recently speaking with one of the neighbors over there. I have 4 people that I visit with in that town. And it takes time to build a friendship, right? It takes time to build that trust between people. Like, if I was to come on here and start throwing everybody's names out here that helped me, I wouldn't get any more information. As bad as I want to share, I have to keep my word on that. But eventually we'll be able to share. Y'all know that. Everything will come out eventually. But in this case, it's just been very hard because so many lies and so many changes of the story by the ones he was last seen with. And we know if it's to be true, Katie was by herself. So really, technically, all the blame falls on her. But I do think if we really had 100% alibi for the stepfather, then he wouldn't even be involved in this mess. But he's made himself be involved in this. Just like all the profilers, Peter Hyatt, they've all said the same thing. He injected himself into this with the phone call. The 2.5 whatever hour phone call. But Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers, to me, was living in a house of horror. Being made to wear diapers. Being spanked with a belt when he's autistic, and which is a felony. That should be enough for grounds of arrest. And I know that we look at that as something that should be done, but I think they're more focused on what happened And I was kind of coming to a point to where I was like, man, this is going to be Summer Wells. And I did a video this morning that was an hour and a half, and I didn't post it. I deleted it because once I got this phone call this afternoon, I was like, it changed everything again in me. It gave me that reassurance of, wow, maybe we are going to get the truth. And I think I titled this video, The Mystery on Stafford Court. The truth. Where's the truth among all the mother's lies, right? And then we also have to look at the stepfather, because he's told a lot of lies as well. But he has gave us a lot of things that paint a picture of who he is. Like the belt incidents, the CPS incidents. We know the teachers, we knew that from the get-go. The teachers were some of the ones that had called on these CPS reports. We knew that. I think we put two and two together. And then if we take a minute real quick though, which I should have done this earlier, and just for anybody that might be new, Sebastian William Jake Rogers was 15 years old at the time he stepped off that front porch, out that front door, according to stepfather, and vanished into thin air. That's his exact words on the web sleuth, right? Y'all know me, I'm a little late to the game. I just now got to watch that one. I didn't even know that one was out there. But when I was taking what this neighbor had given me, I needed to vet it all for myself. I needed to make sure that came out of his mouth, because y'all know me, I don't like to come out here and say things that I didn't come out of their mouth, right? Now, I'll give my opinions, but I don't like to come out and say something like this if I feel like I didn't find out for myself before I said it. But, Sebastian, he did not deserve the way he was treated. He didn't. Diapers and all these things, and belt abuse, and locked in that home. And but when I was listening to the web sleuths about this young man, like his stepfather talking about him, because when I think about Sebastian, I think about a happy, smiling kid all the time. No matter how his life was going, he was always smiling. At least from what we see, he was always smiling. He was always, the green, the tea, like he was a little jokester, right? And I'm not going to say quirky or anything like the stepfather says, or goofy. I would never say that, because he's extra special to me, because he has special needs. With autism, there's different forms of it. And he was just a happy little go-lucky kid, right? That probably wanted to be normal more than anything. And probably wanting to be living with his dad more than anything. But, he loved the color green. That's why, everything is green hearts, and his little army, Sebastian's army, is all green, the green team, whatever, what it is, right? Which is one of the reasons why I have this little thing, right? Because of, like little Summer Wells, and then Jay Slater, and then, Sebastian. I have different colors for different cases. And so that matched the colors. And I was like, man, I'm going to get one of those and put it in the garden, right? And so, he loved Minecraft, which is a lot of green in color, that game. He loved Star Wars. He loved to go fishing with his father. He did not like fire ants. He did not like fire ants, poor baby, he did not. He had a run-in with those, and believe me, they're not fun. I've been bitten by fire ants too, they hurt. And so we know he did not like to go without shoes and socks. He loved to play Call of Duty with his father. He loved to leave his dad voicemails, which we got to hear. Thank God he let us hear those. It just really melted all our hearts, I think, even more. He captured America's hearts for sure. And I think he's getting stronger and not weaker, right? Which is an amazing thing. And you would think after a year, it would kind of start panning down, and it hasn't. So that's such a wonderful thing. I do, when we were told, I keep kind of thinking about the flyer, because, it says the black sweatpants. I like the hoodie style sweatshirt with the black sweatpants. And then, of course, his stepfather made it crystal clear that he had on a long sleeve t-shirt with one of the three, either Minecraft, Star Wars, or Halloween. Okay? Which that shows a a control too of this child, that even the stepfather knew everything that he owned. That's sad. Um, that's really sad. Um, that he was that controlling, that he even knew exactly what this child had on for clothes and had in his closet. And we know he didn't have underwear because Chris had packed them all up, the stepfather, and got rid of those because he wanted him to wear diapers because he had an accident once or twice. Well, it's probably when he hit him with a belt, he probably had the accident. Or he probably scared him, at night before he went to bed. There's no telling what this poor boy was going through. I can't imagine. I just can't not even think about how. Just think about when this child had to go to bed. That was probably his only peacetime away from them. Um, just sad, because if you look at the Roadhouse clip, even he wasn't smiling in that clip. He wasn't. They weren't even really communicating. She was just taking pictures of the kid, right? Because I think she knew that was going to be her last photos. I think that's why she did that. That's why I don't think he made it home from the Roadhouse. But the more I think about this child and think and watch and listen to the things that they say and the way they act, it paints a picture, right? And I think we all know that. We all know Katie is responsible for whatever happened because she's the one responsible for allowing him to be treated like this by his stepfather. Hope y'all can hear. Oh my God, that wind has picked up like 100 miles an hour. Y'all hear that? Holy moly. But I that's another thing that, with her allowing this to happen and allowing him to be treated this way, it makes her just as guilty. But I think she was just as involved. I think she was allowing it and also doing it. A lot of people think she snapped that evening. It is possible. She looks like she could be the type of person, like, she's abused by Chris, so then she takes it out on Sebastian. I think that's how it worked. And it's sad because, at 15 at the time of his vanishing, so whenever all this was going on, he was 15, not 16. He turned 16 December 7th. And I don't even think his mother knew. She almost slipped on that one too in that new interview. And then she looked up at the sky, right, when she said, "If you could hear me," right? That they basically have told us everything we need to know. But the saddest part of it all is they've done such a good job of hiding this child that he might not ever be found. I still think he's in Alaska. I don't know why. I've thought that since day one. Just like about little Dane. I thought that there was probably foul play in that case. Either a boat or something picked that child up, not to change the subject. But and now that this morning they're talking about, they're not going to rule out criminal, right? They don't think it is, but they're not ruling it out. And they want to know if anybody knows anything, please come forward. So that's telling me that they're shifting, which is what happened in this case, but on day 7. And the Amber Alert, the things that came out right away, I think were listening to what the parents said, and that's what they were going off of. But if we go back and we think about the trash, when he took the trash out that night, remember what Katie had on? Black pants, black shirt with like a little hoodie thing on, right? So I'm wondering if when they saw that trash clip, because Seth said you can't make out who it is, right? So did they only really could make out the clothes? Was it like a black little hoodie looking thing and black pants? Well, that's what Katie had on. So is that why they assumed that was Sebastian? And that's why another thing that made me think of this is, remember Eric Craddock said, I'm not going to say he didn't have shoes on. Because remember, she had on black and white shoes just like Sebastian. So did they think that the person that took out the trash, were they believing her and really thinking that was Sebastian? And that's why they said he had on black, and no shoes. They kind of went with the no shoes for her, but they never clearly said no shoes. They said they didn't really know. Now, stepfather in Webster said, let me make myself crystal clear. I've been on this investigation since day 1. He walked out that front door, stepped off that front porch, and poof, into thin air. Right? That's his words. I'm not changing them. That's his words. And he was asked again, well, how do you know? And that's what I wanted to know. How do you know? You were supposed to be 3 hours away. How do you know he walked off that front porch? For one, I know they probably had a camera in the home, most likely. Some kind of ring bulbs or something. I think they had moved that bulb to the trash. According to one of my sources that I'm talking to, On the 21st of December, looking on surveillance tapes, there was a light bulb in that socket. So that means 5 days later, the light bulb was gone. Isn't that weird? That's funny, right? Make that make sense. And then what I'm going to get to here in a minute is really going to, and it might not be nothing to y'all, but to me it's something. Because when she explained this to me, I was like, you know what? It dawned a bell on me, and I thought about it because I was like, going by what he said, there was key locks, like deadbolt indoor locks, to all the other doors except for the front door, which means you have to have a key to get in and out. Okay, well, that means that Sebastian didn't have the key. So in a way, that's a parental control, right? It's a way of, if Katie's still at work and he's home, then she don't have to worry about him going outside, right? And then I'm thinking, well, then she should be worried about the front door. But then I remembered, because of my kids, I had the same style. I have one that you have a fingerprint on, or you can put a code in for my front door. And I change the code every couple of months just to be safe, because there is decoders you can get on your cell phones now. People can break into your home. So that's why a lot of people will change their codes, which, if you really think about it, in the beginning, remember one of the neighbors said that Sebastian didn't know how to get in the front door, that he had to go around to the garage. So was she changing the codes too on her phone? Because, you know, you can change it on your phone. You can lock those from your phone. Like, say that I knew I was going to be 30 minutes away, and even though my daughter was 16 and 17 or 15 and 18 or whatever at the 13 and 18, and I might only be 30 minutes down the road, I could still lock that keypad and they couldn't come outside, or nobody could get in, right? It's like a thing that you can set up on your phone with those particular, pretty much with all 9 different brands. They work the same way. She can control that keypad from her phone or device, iPad, tablet, whatever. So like, say Sebastian got off the bus at 4 in the afternoon, but she didn't get home till 5. Once he got in the home, like, he could call her from his cell phone, Mom at the front door. She could let him in. Ding, door open. He can walk in, shut the door. Then she can ding, lock it, click, and then he can't get out, which means he couldn't go wander around the neighborhood like he had done a few times before. And that's why I think this plays a role. I think after the last time he had got out and the neighbor came to the house to let him know, I think she started utilizing that and was locking that when he would be inside before she got home, to make sure he didn't go back outside again. But let's look at the big picture of this. Christopher Proudfoot said, out of his own words, the only door that he possibly could have been able to get out of is the front door. Okay? Well, we know stepdad's gone. It's just Mom and Sebastian. So knowing that they keep all the doors locked, like she said, remember she said all doors were locked. That really means something more than what we took it as, I think, because when I got to thinking about it, I was thinking, you know what? Whenever they go in for the night, all she has to do is open her cell phone, switch that little thing over, and then even if you know the code, you couldn't get in the house. Even if you were able to figure out the code, or somebody had stole the code, they couldn't get in because she had the lock on it from her phone, which is like a parental control to keep your kids from getting out of the house. Well, we know he didn't know how to get out of the other doors because she had the keys put up. That came out of her mouth. So remember when I did a video about a month ago and I was like, you know, she said all the doors and the windows were locked. Why did she check everything when she knew they were locked, right? That's what I felt. Then I was thinking. And then I got to thinking, and then I've been putting a little bit together here and there. And then when I finally got this information from somebody in that neighborhood that told me, when they looked at their cameras, they could clearly see there was a few times that he didn't come in. He waited at the front door for a little bit, which is telling me that he probably had to call his mama or text mom and say, please open the front door. So then she would just get on her phone, ding, and then that little green light would come on. He could walk on in. And then he'd shut it behind him, and then he could either do it and lock it, or she could just make sure he went in, close it, and then she could just do it with her phone and lock it again, turn it off when he couldn't get outside. It would just keep him from wandering off, right? Because we know they pretty much kept him inside that home a lot, because there was 0% of this child outside, which means he hadn't played outside in probably a month. Which I know is kind of wintertime, but still, all in all, there is pretty days in the winter. But she didn't allow him outside when she wasn't home. So it is a safety in a way, but then it plays a big role to me. Because now I started thinking, if she was locking that thing like that at night, and she clearly said out of her own mouth, all the doors were locked, that means that front door was locked too by her phone. And there is also a button, I think it's pound and star, and you can lock it from inside, where even if your child knows the code, they can't get out. And some parents with little kids will do that, to where their kids can't accidentally, even if they knew the code, get out at night, right? It'll just keep flashing red. It won't let the child out until she unprograms it or turns her phone on and flips that little thing over. So that really, to me, blew my mind when I started putting this together. And then I was like, I got to come on and talk to these guys. I know it's daytime yet, but afternoon time, but the time changed now, so it's daylight longer, right? So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because I don't like looking at the camera. Y'all know that. So I was like, how am I going to do this and do it, right? I was like, heck, I just got to do it. I got to get it out. But because I wanted y'all to know. But, some of those things that were said in that web sleuth really shocked me, because I'm so shocked that they didn't think about this part of it when they said all this. Because one of the first things she said in her first interview was all the doors were locked and the windows were locked. She checked the doors right away that morning. So that right there gives us the answer. He didn't walk out of the house. The doors were locked. Think about it. She gave us what we needed to know from the get-go. And I think that's why law enforcement clearly stated there's no proof or evidence that this child walked out of that home on his own. That's why. Because, there is, when they downloaded her Cellbrite on her phone, any of those codes like that to that front door will show up. But sometimes they have to get a separate warrant for those, right? Because it's a security thing. So you have to get a separate warrant for those. And they might not have done that up front. And they might not have dawned on them till later, which is why I'm telling you, this is why I think they have not debunked that vehicle video for a reason. I don't think that was Sebastian. I think that was a stunt. But still, all in all, Katie went out that back door, to that car and came back, right? We know whoever went out the door came back to that house. So it's somebody within that home. And if Sebastian would have went out to the car, why did he come back? He'd have been in the house. Plus, he couldn't get out the back door, because stepfather made that crystal clear. He couldn't get out that door. Only they could get out those doors. The only door that he possibly could have went out was the front. And we know now that the lock she has, which is the same brand that I have, the feature is there on your phone. And a lot of y'all that have these locks know what I'm talking about. And y'all probably didn't think of it either, because I didn't even think of it. Like, my kids, one of my daughters actually was like, remember when you had to let us in? I'm like, yeah. She goes, remember when you used to be able to lock the door so we couldn't wander outside? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay. That's what she did. Like, my kids are into true crime too, believe me. And they, of course, try to figure these cases out as well. They both clearly said Summer Wells' mom's to blame and grandma, straight off the board. And the first time they watched the first interview with Katie with me, we were sitting on the couch, and they clearly said she's guilty. And this is coming from, at the time, what was it? What was she, 20? And, 20 and 14. 15. 14 at the time. Same, pretty much 15. Same age as Sebastian, right? Because my youngest is the same age, a little bit younger than Sebastian, not much. Because she's November, he's February. So a good little distance, but not that far. Almost a year, I guess. But they're still close to the same age. So, I don't know. I want to see how y'all take this, because to me, it's huge. And I might be just overlooking this. I might be overthinking this. It might be nothing. But I know there's ways for them to check these. And that's why I'm so happy that this person sent this in, right? Was able to look at the cameras, utilize things, go back and look at times when he had to wait to get in the front door, or he had to go around to the garage to show he didn't know the code, or he was waiting for her to unlock it. That, all those little things, sometimes those little bitty things add up to something big. And I'm so thankful now that all this has been sent in, that we were able to catch this, put our heads together, and bring it up and figure it out and say, oh my God, this could be huge, right? Because it could be huge. And I was so shocked, and I was like, I gotta come on and tell I was gonna wait, like I said, till tonight, but I was like, I gotta come on and tell them now. Because it's exciting to think that this may be something that will lead to something, even if it just leads to the next step. But I really thought about it because I was thinking in my head, they clearly stated early on, they don't think there's no proof that he walked out of this home on his own. He's not seen on camera. There's no dog. The dog scent is the biggest thing for them. When they did not pick up a scent, 18 dogs did not pick up a scent of this child outside that home. That's when they clearly said, just like Jennifer Coffendacher, the retired FBI, she has a channel. She's clearly said the dog. She's talked about it. She could get a lot more information than we can get. And I've also been told that some of these elected officials, there's two people that I want to know. Because in that Web Sleuths video, I think it was Bobby and Carter. If y'all know who Christopher Prophet is talking about, if they're elected officials, please let me know so we can find out if they've donated a lot of money. That family has donated a lot of money to their campaign. So then why would he use those two names to sit down with Seth and the PI? Why would he threaten them with those two names? Bobby and who, Carter, or whatever. He said, y'all want to sit down with them too? I'll make a meeting of it. Like, I'm Mr. Big Badass. But you got to remember, they're not even, him and Kate aren't even talking to TBI anymore. TBI's not even talking to them anymore. They're only dealing with Seth because I think they know he's the only one looking for this child. And his alibi is clear because he's on camera the entire time. So, clearly, he's got his alibi. They don't. Katie has zero alibi. And Chris, I don't think has an alibi other than that morning. I really don't. I think they would have come out and said it if he did. And there's nowhere out there does he say, hey, his alibi starts from, this date to this date. No, there's none of that. Just like I'm saying, there's no proof that he's taken a lie detector test, but he says that TBI, he's got a message, which he's big on proof, right? If you have something, post it. That's what he said. Okay, well, why didn't you post it? If you took it and you passed it and TBI sent you a thing saying you passed, why didn't you post? You would have posted that if you passed it. You've been trying to clear yourself since day one, Christopher Prophet. Don't tell me you wouldn't have posted that shit. You're trying to post debunked videos. Give me a break. It just, everything he says is a lie. My gosh, I just don't get it. How somebody can lie so much. I just don't understand it. But it is what it is, right? We can't change it. We can just try to keep digging for these little things like this that may lead to something better. And I'm praying that this might lead to something better. Please tell me y'all's opinion of what y'all think about this. And I might be just, it might be nothing. I might have just wasted a month. I don't know. But I really think it's going to come down to something simple like this that's going to break it. I do. I think they have their theories, which I wish they would share with us, but they won't. But we know law enforcement has their theories. They told Nick Barris that. They have their theories. They just have no proof of their theories. But maybe something like this, if they haven't got a warrant for this data, maybe now they can get a warrant for this data, right, that has been sent in. And I didn't send it in, but she sent it in. Well, the person that helped me, the person that give me the information, I shouldn't have said that, send it in, right? So hopefully something will come of it. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, because Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers does need justice. He does need to be found. One way or another, he needs to be found. Do I think he's put up? I've never really thought that. I know there's a 30% chance I think that he could be. I think that would be a liability to them. I don't think he would be talking the way he's talking about him never going to be found. I don't think some of the comments that he's made downgrading this poor child, I don't think he would do this if he realized that one day he might have to face Sebastian again. I really don't think so. I don't think he would be talking about his diapers and throwing everything out here about him to try to make people stay away from him, which all it did was make our hearts stronger for Sebastian. Thank God. That's all he did was make Sebastian capture America's hearts more by all his negative, because we, as people with big hearts, don't believe you should ever talk about a child this way, especially not a child that's extra special. So anyway, guys, with that said, I'm going to get out of here till tonight. I just wanted to come on real quick and tell you, I'm sorry it took 30 minutes, but I wanted to explain to y'all. Hope y'all watch this till the end so y'all can get the full thing of this video, because I don't do these very often, but I did it now. And I did it for Sebastian because I felt like I needed to get it out there as quick as possible. So y'all have a good day, guys. Remember, allegedly, these are just my opinions, my theories, my speculations, my free speech, not to affect the channel. Y'all's comments, y'all's and y'all's alone. Do your own research. I do my research. We do our research together because we are a big-hearted family. And we do fight for all these missing children and all these runaways. They run for a reason. So, justice across the board. And also say a little extra prayer for Sebastian today, and say a little extra prayer for Dane, because now that they're thinking this could possibly be something different, which I thought that, I've been saying it since day 2, I felt like it was a boat or something else was involved in this. Because when I thought about little Dane loving people and not being afraid of strangers and being fearless and loving the water, if he'd have seen a little boat coming by with a trolling motor, somebody out fishing or checking trout lines with evil intent, he would have ran up there to check the boat out. That person could have grabbed him and been gone like that. And with a trolling motor, it doesn't make any noise. It just makes that little, you would never hear it from way up there. And they could have been gone down the river, and that'd been it. Sad, heartbreaking, but I think this, I said it from day 1, day 2, I think this case is going to flip. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. I'm not saying it's the parents. I'm thinking it was somebody in a boat. I don't know what they're thinking, but I was thinking it was somebody that was on that water that day, possibly with evil intent. Hopefully I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong, but we don't know. Because that water being mostly shallow all the way down, and them searching as much of that river as they've searched already, as many miles down as they've searched, and not be able to find this child. I don't know. I haven't checked updates. I've been busy all day, but I'm going to start checking them now, and I'll let y'all know. But say an extra prayer for all of them. Summer Wells too, guys. She was on my mind today, little Summer. I'm gearing up. I got some emails for some people that said they were going to bring their dogs, and then one guy said he had a little ground penetrating radar machine that he would bring. So I'm so thankful for all y'all. We thank y'all so much for everybody. June is going to be a wonderful search for Summer Wells, and we're going to film it all. And there's going to be at least 50 of y'all there, so that's going to be amazing. And it'll be a good search. And then if Sebastian Rogers is still not found, we have 2 target areas, and 27 of y'all out of the 50 so far have agreed to roll over and search for Sebastian in June if he's not found by then. So we're going to do both. We're going to film both. So anybody that's in the Hendersonville area that has a big heart for Sebastian and wants to join our search at the end of June, please reach out by email, and I'll get you the details, and we'll go from there. And I'm going to talk to a few other creators and see if they want to join in, and we'll go from there. You know, I'm just a little baby channel though, so they might not want to deal with me because I'm little poquito, little small. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Justice for Sebastian Rogers, justice for all. Little Dane, prayers, prayers, prayers that he's found. Summer Wells, Nikki McCann, Suzanne Simpson, all of them. Shout out all. We're going to try to get tomorrow to San Antonio. The weather's been crazy, but we're going to try to go tomorrow to San Antonio to search again for Suzanne Simpson. So we'll take y'all with us. And we'll just keep it going, guys. We'll see y'all tonight. Hopefully the wind will die down a little, and I can light that good fire right there that y'all see sitting there that I've had ready for 2 nights. And we'll get a fire chat going tonight. All right, guys. Y'all be good. Be safe. We love y'all, guys. We'll talk to you on the next one. And have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your afternoon.